Rajeev, Sachdeva, faculty in auditing with the Board of Studies of the ICA.
I'm Nisha Gupta, faculty of law, Board of Studies. Dear friends, I welcome to you all on today's integrated session. Dear friends, this session is very important to you all as there is an interlinkage of the two topics of the two papers. And in fact, you may derive the maximum benefit out of this session as we have interlinked the topics related to the company audit, which falls within the paper 3 of your final course, that is the advanced auditing and professional ethics, and covering the paper chapter number 2 of the paper 4, that is the corporate and allied laws, audit and auditors. Since as you all know that there are certain topics which are common in one and the other subject, and with this we have interlinked these two topics covering the audit and auditors, so that in one single go you may come up with one topic with its applicability from the prospect of audit as well as the law. With this intention and hope that you all may be having greatest benefit out of this session, let's start our technical session. Please go through the following disclaimer. Dear friends, you know this is a student learning management system initiated by the Board of Studies, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, for the benefit of the students so that they may refer the e-lectures available on the students for this topic as well as for the other topics. It is freely accessible. Students may simply by registering their registration number, they may start learning immediately. So students, you are advised to refer to the study material and other relevant legislations for latest provisions or amendments required for the forthcoming examination. This is a very important thing that you should remember before starting your studies. As you all know, that CA regulation prescribes the cutoff period for the relevant amendments that are relevant for the coming examinations. And since for November 2016 examination, the cutoff period prescribed is the 30th April 2015. That means all the relevant notified sections of the Companies Act as well as the other legislative amendments, including any notifications, rules, guidelines, essays, and all that, you may see the concerned regulating authorities, and all the relevant amendments which are notified up till 30th April 2015 are relevant for November 2016 examination. For more details and relevant amendments, please see the RTP of November 2016 examination. This is available in the hard form as well as it's also posted on the website. The first important question that strikes to the student's mind is how to read and understand the law. Since today's session is based on the law, even the company audit is also based on the provisions related to the Companies Act with respect to the audit and auditors. So, how to read and understand the law, one should focus on the major legal provisions so that they may understand what are the intention of the legislature behind its enactment and what are the implications in practice. So one should prepare well enough that they can conceptually explain the relevant provisions with the principle and conditions laid down in the respective provisions. Even one student should go and inculcate the habit of reading the bare acts because it is the actual act given over there. So you should inculcate a habit of reading the bare acts. And besides, it is better to start remembering some of the important sections and apply them in solving the practical problems. Though citing of section does not form the part of our answers, but it is required that you may cite the sections in order to give a good quality of answers. And reading case laws, if any, may also form the part of your reading for enhanced knowledge. This will not only give you conceptual clarity, but also you can have the grasp on the provision and the concepts. Next important question, that is how the question may be attempted. Sometimes you are well conversant with the law, but you're not able to represent yourself. And this is the main flaws. That is why the students cannot secure a good marks. So while attempting your answer, first you should see what type of question has been asked in the examination. If it's theoretical, then you should simply lay down a brief your answer in bullet points, small paras. giving and just seeing what exactly the question has been asked. That means what the paper setter is expecting from you, and then you should lay down your answer. But of course, if it is a practical oriented question, that is a simple scenario based questions, you are required to link your answer with the proper provisions. That means wherever possible, give the heading of the provisions and the name of the act within the purview of that problem false. Then you should lay down the relevant legal provisions along with correct citing of sections, numbers, wherever there is feasible, or wherever you remember the correct section number, and along with the correct name of the act along with the year. After giving the complete legal provision, then you should lay down the facts or the legal issues that has been given in the problem and correlate the legal issues with the legal provisions, and then conclude your answer. Along with your preparation, you need to prepare brief notes. That is, translate your knowledge into brief notes. That is, whatever you read, you just lay down in the brief notes. And also, you may represent your notes in the form of a diagram so that you can easily recall whatever you have gone through. Along with that, at the later stage of preparation, we will require minimum time and the minimum effort. That means no much time will be consumed by revising the same. For example, you can say, as you know, section 149 deals with the minimum and maximum number of directors. So you can simply, while reading the provision, you can lay down in brief note as the minimum number prescribed for the director in the case of public company is 3. In the case of private company, it's 2. And in case of OPC, it's 1. However, you can say that, however, the section further prescribes the maximum number also, which is this 15. But this maximum numbers can be increased by passing SR. So in this manner, you can lay down brief notes. And you can also represent this same thing into the diagram form also. For example, number of directors in a company. First, in case of public company, in case of private company, and in case of OPC. That is 3, 2, and 1. Maximum is 15. This is how you can represent in the diagrammatic form so that you can easily revise the concept within the minimum time. With this general introduction of the subject, now let's move to the technical session. Now over to Rajeev sir.
Yes, students, very well said by Nisha Gupta. I would like to explain a few things in context of auditing. As you know, auditing has 2 parts, rather 3 parts I should say. One is you see connected with the company law, company audit portion, and professional ethics is another portion I say, which is law related, that is Chartered Accountants Act. And then we have general portion, bank audit, insurance audit, other audits, risk assessment, materiality, and other topics. Now, very well said, as stated by Nisha, you better to start remembering some of the important sections. I would like to throw light on this. Students, if I am talking of auditing, there is maximum number of failure in this subject. Maximum number of students score less than even 30 marks. Now, what is the reason behind? Reason is students do not learn. Students come to us, when I ask them the ABC of the company audit, they are unaware of it. And when I ask them just clause 1 of first schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act, first schedule clause 1, they cannot speak even single word. But what examiner will check, what examiner is going to check, he will check what you have written in the examination, what you have written on the answer book. So for that purpose, You have to learn. Learning is the key. If you ask me really, learning is very important. I lay so much stress on learning. And if I am talking of auditing, Nisha will tell you the key portions where you can learn in law. I will tell you about auditing. In auditing, students, you should focus on learning, number one, company audit. Company audit starting with section 139.1. I will tell you how you need to learn that section 139.1. I will tell you in detail how to learn. I am not saying it only that you should learn. I am not closing here. I will tell you how to learn. In addition to that, I will explain you this in full detail with the help of section 139. Another topic, students, which I emphasize, where learning is very important, is professional ethics. Professional ethics, chapter 22, you get 16 marks question from this chapter. You learn each and every clause, I tell you, and it will require a lot of effort from your side. Students, just learn 2 to 3 clauses on daily basis, I tell you. Maximum 4 clauses you learn on one day. And do not be in hurry while, I tell you, you should do slow learning. Learning has to be very slow, I tell you. Do not be in hurry to learn. So I have seen students, sir, I am not able to learn. Learn, I give you one example. If I asked you to tell me ABC, you will come up A, B, C, D, E, F, G. How did you learn that? You took 1 year to learn that ABC. So, learning process, you see, is always slow. Do not be in hurry to learn. You learn once, say on today you learned section 139.1, you learn section 139.1, revise it on the very next day, then revise it after 1 week, and then after 1 month. 4 times learning will make the entire topic cemented, right? Like anything. Now, nobody will be able to wash it away from your mind. That will get cemented in your mind. So 4 times learning I suggest for company audit portion and for professional ethics. So learning, better to start remembering some of the important sections. Now I am not telling you to learn the entire auditing paper. No. You need to start learning, and first of all you need to learn company audit and then professional ethics. You will have enough confidence to handle the auditing paper, because 16 marks question you will get from professional ethics, and at least 8 marks question, 8 marks total from 24 marks preparation would be very good. You gain confidence and then you gain the momentum. So for other chapters, I should say, you should learn the points and read out the material. Balanced material you need to read out in such a manner that you are able to reproduce 50% of that material in the examination. 40-50% if you are able to reproduce that material, you will score, believe me, you will score very good marks in auditing. But start doing this exercise. You need to start it. So learning is the key fundamental I am stressing, students. This is very good point, I tell you. Better to start remembering some of the important sections. So in context of auditing, I have already, this is part of strategy, I tell you. You prepare the strategy, how I need to handle the subject. Nisha will tell you about company law, what are the important topics you need to learn so that you can build your base and then move forward. Nisha, what are the topics?
Dear students, as you will find that your syllabus is being divided into 2 parts, part A and part B. The part A deals with the corporate law portion and part D deals with the allied laws. And of course, part A, which is totally with respect to the Companies Act 2013. And yes, you will see that around 70 numbers. That means if you take the choice of numbers, total question paper is asked of 120 marks because of the choices given in the question. out of this, you will find that 84 number marks is for the Companies Act portion, and while rest of the marks, that is 38, deals with the allied law portions. And you will find that in company law portion also there are certain chapters. You will find that first 5 chapters of a study material that deals with the director, dividend, audit, and auditor accounts, as well as the board meeting. These are the important topics, and students should not miss a single point of this chapter, because due to the choices of question, they may ask any of the provisions with you. So looking at the importance of these 5 topics, you should completely read each and provision of this chapter. And around you will find, taking into consideration the weightage allotted to this paper, you will find that more than 50% is being asked from these 5 chapters. That means if you read this 5 chapter in a proper manner, you can easily achieve around 40 marks. And after that, there are certain chapters which are still with respect to the Companies Act 1956 due to no notification of the corresponding sections of the 2013, and so they are still the relevant sections of the 1956 are still in existence. And besides with that, you will find the allied law portion, the important chapters you will find around 4 to 8 number questions are being asked from this allied law portion, and the important chapters are from the allied law portions are the FEMA. You will find around 8 number questions are being asked from the FEMA part. Then from Competition Act, 4 number question is asked. From Prevention and Money Laundering Act, 4 number question is asked. And further from interpretation of statutes, you'll find a 4 number question is being asked. So considering the importance, you should select some of the important topics which are the base as well as which are important from the examination perspective. So kindly go through these chapters and see the past trends of the examination in order to have more idea what are the relevant topics.
So students, board of directors meetings, etc., as told to you by Nisha, very important topics in company law, of course. And coming back to auditing, here few important points which Nisha Gupta told you. Besides learning, students, there is one more important thing you need to focus is, while gaining knowledge of the laws, intention of the lawmakers. Intention of the lawmakers is very important to understand. You need to understand what the lawmakers intend to say. That will help you in learning the total section. If you first understand the intention of the law. You see, we are living in commercial world. This is business world. And whenever there is any law related to business, see what intention it is carrying. So this is the first point in this PPT, you are seeing focus on all the major legal provisions, their objective, intention of the law, and what are their implications in practice. Very important thing, implication in practice. Okay, what now I am studying this and how I may use this in my practice. So just think over it. This is when you learn in this manner, believe me, your learning will be very fast and your retention will be longer for the longer period, and you will score very good marks, I tell you. This will have direct impact on your marks. You enjoy your studies, I tell you. So 2 points are very important, students, so far as law is concerned. One is learning and understand the intention of the law. And the entire thing which is written over here in front of your screen, this is given in our study material. Students, please read I request you to read out our study material and practice manual. Do not go after books. Do not read books. Books are only for reference purpose. You can take the reference from them, but do not use books for learning purpose. Learn from our study material only. So this is very important. I see students learning from other books. No, that will not do. and that will not give you very good marks, I tell you. So this is the key thing I am telling you, learn from the study material. This entire things, 4 things are written. So our study material will provide you all these things. Intention of law is clearly explained. They are very much supported by the case laws. Then you will enjoy basically. And plus have, very important thing is, you should also go through the Bear Act. Bear Acts, Bharat, Taxman, any good Bear Act you can have and study from there. Yes, this is another important thing. How questions may be attempted. Heading if possible. Relevant legal provision. This is very important, I tell you. Relevant legal provision with correct section number and correct name of the act with the year. Now students, you come to me and students ask us, sir, we are not able to remember the section number. I ask you one question, students. Do you know your house number? Do you remember your house number, your vehicle number, motorcycle number, car number? What is that? I think you never have remembered that, but still you can recall, but still you are able to recall very fast. How? Because you are living in your house. Since you are living in your house, you are able to communicate to others speedily. Yes, sir, I live in 42D, this pocket number, this. Hurriedly, you can say. Students, I tell you, you live in that section, I tell you. Like you are living in your house, you should live in that section. You should live in that provisions. You should understand the intention, learn that section, and learning of number will not at all be a problem. You learn in such a manner. Intensive study, deep study. Section number learning will not be a problem, I tell you. But you learn in an intensive manner. Now, facts given in the problem. This is another very important point I emphasize. This is very, very important, I tell you. If you understand the facts of the question, problem, if you understand well, now you do not write the facts in that language. Please remember this. The language which is given in the question paper, do not use that language. Frame it in your own language. Frame your own language. Mold that facts and apply the relevant provision, relevant section of the law, relevant clause of the professional ethics, or relevant section of the income tax law if it is there. Attack it from different angles. If you are able to attract any, you see, essay, if you are able to attract any essay, if you are able to attract any accounting standard, if you are able to attract any section of the company law or income tax law, whatever the case may be, do not hesitate. I find students hesitate. Students, you come out of the examination, ये तो हमें आता था, ये तो आता था, but you did not write there. Do not hesitate to write. Please remember this. This is very important point. If you will not hesitate, it will give definitely, I can say 10 marks at least jump to your marks. I see students hesitate to write. Just remove your hesitations, remove your fears. And how will you able to remove your fear? By learning, I tell you. Now correlate with the correlation. This is another important point is correlation. Now what is the correlation between the legal provision? You should be able to attract that legal provision, correlate that legal provision with the facts of the case. Now this is where your artistic kind of thing will play a good role, you see. So correlation is very important. This is an important paragraph. We should write in a careful manner, I tell you, and then conclusion. So this is how you can attempt the case study based question. Yes, Nisha?
Yeah, as already sir said, in order to require a good question in a proper manner and to secure a good mark, there is a strategy how you can write down your answers. Of course, as discussed, the relevant legal provisions. Always the proper provision with all the essentials contained in the provision should be let down. That means sometimes what happens, even in a single line, your answer lies. But you should lay down sometimes that you miss out that particular line in which your answer is being given or is being related with. So it is required, read the question properly, then lay down the complete legal provision and then pointing out the legal issue given in the question and synchronizing these legal issue with the given facts and finally concluding your answer. Whatever has been asked in the question, then you should conclude with that, and in this way you may give a complete answer and that will definitely lead you to a good marks. Now moving to the technical session.
Yes, section 139. As I told you, I will explain to you how to learn. With the help of this section, students, section 139, I will explain to you how to learn. So section 139, this is subsection 1. Section 139, subsection 1 of the company that states that every company shall, here emphasis is every company, be it a public limited company, private limited company, OPC, small company, whatever the company is, every company shall at the first AGM itself, at the first AGM, appoint an individual or a firm. Now every company here means that here no distinction has been made among various companies. Whether it is, I told you, it is one person company, small company, or public limited company, private limited, listed, unlisted, whatever the case may be. Every company, each and every company will have to appoint its secretary. Now you focus on this word, every company. If you will focus on this word, every company shall appoint an auditor. Now every company shall appoint, every company shall, as you all understand at this level, at final level, shall is always mandatory and may is discretionary. So every company shall, this is the way in which you can slowly learn. This is a slow learning. This is called slow learning. I was explaining to you to learn slow. 2 minutes have gone, 1 minute has gone, and I am on these 3 words, every company shall. Spend time on this, I tell you. So this will be, there will be concrete learning. You will not forget easily, I tell you, if you learn in this manner. So every company shall at first AGM itself, annual general meeting, appoint an individual or a firm. Appoint an individual or a firm. This is very much underlined. Now individual, I give you an example of individual. Say Mr. Rohit Kumar, chartered accountant. He qualified as chartered accountant and he is practicing in this name Rohit Kumar, chartered accountant, in practice. So this is called Rohit Kumar appointed as auditor in a company. So individual, Rohit Kumar is an individual. So individual appointed as auditor in a company. So every company shall at the first meeting, first AGM, appoint an individual or a firm. Not only an individual, a firm can also be appointed as an auditor. Now, what is a firm? Firm, if Rohit Kumar is in partnership with, wants to do partnership with Mohit, say Mohit, and they form a firm, Rohit, Mohit and Company, Rohit, Mohit and Associates, for example. So Rohit, Mohit and Associates, Chartered Accountants. So this is the name and style under which they are doing, they are exercising their profession. Rohit, Mohit and Company, Rohit, Mohit and Associates. This is the firm name. So every company shall at the first AGM appoint an individual. They may appoint an individual. They may appoint a firm as their auditor, and who shall, whether individual or a firm, shall hold office from the conclusion of the meeting, conclusion of that meeting. Now, what is the meaning of here that meeting? That meeting means first meeting. From the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of its sixth AGM. Now, till the conclusion of sixth AGM, and thereafter till the conclusion of every, and thereafter this process will continue till the conclusion of every sixth. Means the chartered accountant who is appointed, whether it is individual or firm appointed as an auditor, office of auditor, if he occupies the office of auditor, he occupies the office of auditor for five years. Term is basically, what is the term? Term is 5 years. So section 139(1), this is in respect of every company, I tell you. So every company here is required to appoint an individual, appoint an auditor who shall hold office. Office here, the meaning of office. Who shall hold office? What is the meaning of office here? The meaning of office here is office of auditor. Please remember this. Who shall hold office? Office, this is not the office of the company. Some students are thinking that he is acquiring the office of a company. No, he is appointed as an who shall hold office of auditor from the conclusion of that meeting. That meeting means in which he is appointed as an auditor. That meeting here means in which he is appointed as an auditor until the conclusion of its sixth AGM, and thereafter this process will continue till the conclusion of everything. So this is the first thing, first instance. Prima facie, you learn this section. Now learn this section in an intensive manner. Every company I understood, shall I understood, at the first AGM I understood, individual with example I understood, firm example I understood. What is the meaning of office here, office of the auditor, that meeting so if you study law in this manner, I think you will be able to learn easily you can learn this, I tell you. And simultaneously, as Nisha was telling you, to prepare brief notes, so simultaneously आप brief notes भी बना सकते हैं. You can prepare brief notes. This is how you can prepare the brief notes. Every company shall at first AGM appoint an auditor who shall hold office from that meeting till the sixth AGM. So this is how you can prepare the brief notes. With the meeting wherein such appointment has been made being counted as the first meeting. This is example Nisha will explain to you.
In order to understand the provisions laid down under section 139(1), which deals with the appointment of the auditor. So definitely, as I said, it is mandatory for every company, whether it may be, as I said, it may be private, public, OPC, any of the company, it shall has to comply with the appointment of the auditors. So it said that it should be appointed in the AGM with respect to in the
first AGM,
and it will continue till the sixth AGM. That means the term is given as 5 years. And as already said, the first AGM will be considered as that in which he is appointed.
Yeah, very right.
So this is what has been explained in the example. If the appointment is made on 12 September 2015 for the financial year 15-16. So this meeting will be taken as the first meeting because in this meeting he was appointed. So it shall be considered as the first meeting over here. Then
very right.
And then the second meeting will be, which has been held on 10/9/2016, will be taken as second meeting. For the third meeting will be taken as, which is held on 11/9/2017. Similarly, fourth, fifth, and sixth meeting, which is held on 10/9/2020. So this total will be termed as 5 years.
Yeah.
Because This first, that auditor shall be considered appointed from the conclusion of the first meeting.
Yeah.
So here we take this as the total term as the 5 year.
Thank you, Nisha. So, section 139, subsection 1, there are certain provisos. So, here I am explaining to with the help of notes. Note 1. Ratification by members at every AGM. This is a must. Ratification here means confirmation. So, members will confirm that auditors appointed will continue. Here the term ratification means confirmation that the auditor appointed earlier would continue in his office. Office means office of auditor. If the appointment is not ratified by the members of the company, not another question which may rise in your mind. If the appointment is not ratified by the members of the company, then the board of directors shall appoint another individual or firm as its auditor. This is the answer. Now, selection, how the selection of auditor will take place. Selection of auditors will take place as per rule 3. Now, here if I am talking of rule 3, so I should be jumping to rule 3 and then I should understand the entire rule 3. And rule 3 is, this is the manner and procedure of selection and appointment of auditors. Before I explain to you rule 3, we check up if online queries are there. Yes, coming back to the PPT part. Rule 3 is manner and procedure of selection and appointment of auditors. Now, as we explained to you earlier, very good point I tell you, which Nisha Gupta explained in the first slide itself, that you should have a good Bear Act with you. This is very good point I tell you. If you are having the Bear Act or a good manual on the company law, then simultaneously you will find along with the section there are rules. And if you go to rule 3 of the company rules, auditor rules, this is the first point you will see. And here I have not copied the language of the law, I tell you. This point is written in a simplified manner. Those who are watching this may note down also. Audit committee or the board, first point is, and if you, I explain to you, this is what I am explaining to how to learn simultaneously. And these all 7 points are there, they are interlinked. You need not learn each and every point. Just see what sequence is there. Get that sequence in your mind. And once you fit the sequence in your mind, learning will not be a problem, I tell you. So audit committee or the board, as the case may be, shall consider the qualification and experience of the individual or the firm of auditors. Now I give you one example for this. If any person, say you are running a big business, and you wish to appoint some manager in your factory, and you want to appoint some manager who could assist you in production, manufacturing, etc., or marketing operations. Now you will pay him 50,000 rupees per month or whatsoever remuneration you will pay him. Now you will ask that person, while interviewing that person, you will ask for his qualification. What is your qualification? What is your experience? What is your past history? So all these things you will take into account before appointing him. So similar process is here. Before selection of the auditors, board is considering the qualification and experience of the auditor, individual or the firm who is appointed as auditor. Because my size of the company may be a big one, and I have the right to select the auditor having the requisite qualification and experience. So here the point is very logical, I tell you, and get that intention of, see the intention of the lawmakers. Intention of the lawmakers is you should have the right here, you should have the right of choice. You have the right to choose your auditor, having the requisite qualification and experience which is matching with your company. So audit committee or the board shall consider the qualification and experience of the individual or the firm of auditors, because every company shall at the first AGM appoint an individual or a firm. आगे ना यहाँ पर देखो, individual or firm as its auditor. Section 139(1) में हमने पढ़ा था अभी. This is first point which is continuing. Now, if I am appointing some person, I will check up his history, what he was doing in the past, whether any case is pending against him, whether the audit committee shall have the regard to an order or pending proceeding against the proposed auditor. ऐसा ना हो हमने ऑडिटर अपॉइंट कर लिया, उसके अगेंस्ट कोई केस चल रहा है, कोई प्रोसीडिंग चल रही है, इंस्टीट्यूट में चल रही है, किसी कोर्ट में चल रही है. So you need to take care of these things before appointing an auditor. The audit committee or the board may call for such. Now, if you are appointing some person as your auditor, so you will ask him, I gave you an example, for your factory, for your business setup, you wanted to appoint some manager who will look after your manufacturing, marketing, etc. operations. Now you are ready to pay him 50,000 rupees. You will call for his biodata. You will you come out with your certificates. You come out with your past C3 pay slips, bank statement, anything. So if I am appointing an auditor, I can call for any other information, which I think from the proposed, as it means audit committee or the board, whatever may deem fit, they may call that information. In support of their qualification, experience, they can call any information. So this is the logical point. So try to establish the linkage and logic, and then learn. I can assure you, students, learning will not be a problem. Yes, next point is, Nisha, what is your opinion on this?
Exactly. If you see, the whole rule 3 is very vast, and definitely you will be little bit, you will get annoyed with seeing such a large rule. But yes, by easy tricks, you can, by brief notes, you can easily grasp the concept or the provisions laid down under rule 3. It's very simple. The rule 3 says how the selection or the appointment of auditors is done in the company. So it is clearly says where there is an audit committee in a company. If there's the audit company will consider the qualification, as well as you can say the qualification eligibility criteria, what are the things, and they may also ask for the other information wherever they may require from the proposed auditor. And similarly, if the companies where there is no audit committee, there the board may, in the similar manner, they may consider the qualifications and eligibilities of the auditors, as well as they may also demand for the other relevant information from the proposed auditors. This is what has been discussed in first 2 points related to rule 3.
Yes. Coming to point number 3, students, where a company is required to constitute the audit committee, where audit committee is required, in case company is required to constitute the audit committee, then committee shall recommend to the board. Committee shall recommend to the board the name of the auditor. And in other cases, what are the other cases? Other cases are, students, where there is no audit committee, then the board will function there. And board shall recommend the recommend to the members in the AGM, the name of the auditor will be recommended by the board. Ultimately, it has to go to the shareholders. Ultimately, whether audit committee is there, audit committee is exercising through the board, and board will directly exercise with the shareholders. This is the idea behind it. Now the board, now I try to give you the one linkage, one idea. You should establish the linkage in your mind. This is very important, I am telling you. If you understand the points, establish the required linkage, you will never forget, I tell you. Here each and every point is linked with the next point. So if you learn in this manner, learning will not be difficult, I can assure you. Now the board, audit committee is recommending to the board. Board has two options. They may agree with the recommendation of the board, audit committee. They may not agree with the recommendation of the. Now it means fifth point which will come. If this point is board agrees, fifth point will come if board does not agree. So automatically linkage is there. If the board agrees with the recommendation of the audit committee, it shall further recommend the name of the auditor to the members in the AGM. If the board is in agreement with the audit committee, so board ultimately it will have to go to members. So board will further pass on this information to the members, recommending the name of the auditor. Now fifth point, there were two options as I was telling you. If the board doesn't agree, disagrees with the recommendation of the audit committee, then it has no option. It will refer back for reconsideration. Board will say to the audit committee, you reconsider and then propose some other auditor, name up. So these are the logical points which we are discussing. So this is the intention of the law. Students ask me, students communicate us over phone, over mails. They come to us even. I ask them what is rule 3. They are just unaware about that. Nothing they know about rule 3. And rule 3, if you see, this is the entire crux, manner and selection, procedure of selection of appointment or auditor. And students are unaware about this. I am sorry to say. So very important point, as told, as explained by Nisha, you must have the Bare Act with you, a good manual with you, rather, company law manual, Taxman Bharat, along with the study material. This is the reference book. So if you keep your reference book with you, you will try to establish, the section with the rule. Section 139.1, rule 3 has to be read with the section 139.1. 139.1, rule 3. So, and points as you are seeing, these are all are interlinked points. Establish the linkage. If the audit committee decides not to, now audit committee has also two options. One, it may recommend the name to the board. It may not reconsider. So if it did not reconsider, then the board shall record the reasons for its disagreement. Now the board this will be in writing, I tell you, and send its own. Now the board has no option. Board will send its own recommendation to the members for the name of the auditor. And seventh point is, the auditor appointed in the AGM shall hold office from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of 6th AGM. Section 139.1 was explaining this also. With the meeting wherein such appointment has been made being counted as the first meeting. Yes, Nisha?
Yes, as already said by sir, that how the that auditor is being appointed by the companies. That already said, where there's an audit committee, he definitely recommends the qualification, and then that recommendation is being sent to the board. And later on, if board is satisfied with the recommendations and all that, he further recommend to the members to appoint the auditors. And similarly, if there is no audit committee, then definitely the board will recommend the name of the auditors to be appointed to the members to appoint the auditors in the AGM.
Now, provided that such appointment shall be subject to ratification in every AGM. Ratification means confirmation, and confirmation will be in every AGM till the sixth such meeting. And confirmation, ratification will be by way of passing an ordinary resolution, not special, ordinary resolution. Before such appointment is made, this is proviso to section 139(1). Written consent of the auditor. Company has to obtain written consent of the auditor plus certificate from him that reappointment is in accordance with the conditions. Now, these are your brief notes, I tell you. If you study the proviso is not written in this manner in the their act or in your study material. You can prepare brief notes in support of some sections. It is not that learning of each and every line is must. It is not there that. So you can prepare brief notes, but you need to apply your mind. You need to devote time. You need to learn in slow manner. Only then you will be able to learn. Before such appointment, written consent, not oral consent. Oral consent will not do. Written consent of the auditor. And plus a certificate from him that reappointment is in accordance with the conditions. Certificate will indicate that the auditor satisfies the criteria of section 141. Certificate will indicate that the auditor satisfies the criteria of section 141 is disqualification. So Nisha Gupta will tell you what are the disqualification.
Section 141 prescribes the various eligibility criteria for appointment of an auditor. Definitely, then in the first provision of section 141, one says that a person should be chartered accountant. This is the basic requirement. This is the mandatory one. If the person is not then chartered accountant, he cannot be appointed as an auditor. So this is the first basic requirement of a person to be an auditor. So being a chartered accountant, after there are certain disqualifications which has been enumerated under section 141 subsection 3 of the Companies Act 2013. So there are various qualifications as let down in the subsection 3 of section 141, which says that the person to be appointed or the firm should be corporate base. That means if it is an LLP, then it will be an LLP under the LLP Act 2008. Then such a body corporate will be disqualified. Similarly, any officer or employee of the company, he will be disqualified. Or whether that person may be a partner or an employee of the officer or of the employee. In such a situation also, the person, that is the individual or the firm, cannot be appointed as an auditor. He will be disqualified. And where the person, he himself or along with his partners or relatives, he is holding any securities or interest in a company, he will be definitely disqualified for being appointed as a company. But there is, however, a provision has been given under section 141, this subsection 3. It says that if the relative is holding the security or interest in a company in excess of rupees 1 lakh, then he may be disqualified. That means it is holding less than 1 lakh rupees, then he will be eligible to be appointed as an auditor. But if it is holding the securities or the interest exceeding 1 lakh rupees, then in such a situation, he may be disqualified. Similarly, where he is indebted to the company for more than rupees 5 lakh, he may be disqualified. And where there is an indirect indebtedness is where he has given a guarantee or a security on behalf of the third person, and that value is exceeding rupees 1 lakh. In such a situation, he may also be disqualified to be appointed as an auditor. Similarly, where the relative is a director or a KMP of the company, this is also one of the disqualification point. And where he has been convicted of an offense with respect to commission of a fraud, he may he in that situation he shall be disqualified. And similarly, where the person or the firm is engaged in consulting and the specialized services under section 144, he may be disqualified. So these are the certain important disqualifications which are given under section 141 subsection 3, which I have explained in brief as of now, but which will be taken in detail later on.
So you can explain right now even.
Okay, fine. Let's see in detail what exact the provisions has been given. As already said, the section 141 deals with the eligibility or the qualification which is required for the appointment of a person, that is the individual, as an auditor. So you will find that it has been mandatorily prescribed that if he is a chartered accountant, then he is eligible for the appointment. That means if he is not a chartered accountant, he shall be disqualified. Similarly, with respect to the firm, you may find where the majority of the person practicing, in particular in India, are qualified for appointment as above means as a chartered accountant. They may be appointed by its firm name. That means they act under the firm name and they shall be appointed as the auditor of the company. Moving to next subsection 2, which deals with the authorization to act and sign. It says that in the case where the firm includes limited liability partnership, as already said, a body corporate which is a limited liability under the Limited Liability Partnership Act will not be disqualified. But other than LLPs, the body corporate will be disqualified. So here where a firm including a LLP is appointed as an auditor or for company, then only those partners, this is the requirement, only those partners who are chartered accountants, they shall be authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm. This clearly shows that everybody is not a chartered accountant, but those who are the chartered accountants, they are authorized to sign on behalf of the firm.
It's very good point, students. Only those persons, only those would be authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm who are chartered accountants only. It means if one is in LLP, if one person is, say, one partner is company secretary and two partners are chartered accountants, the company secretary would not be authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm. This is the meaning here. So only those partners would be eligible, would be authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm who are chartered accountants. Now we move back to section 139 and further we will explain later on section 141. It's okay, Nisha?
Yes,
if I explain section 139?
Sure.
So coming back to section 139, students, I explained to you section 139(1) along with rule 3. So certificate here, certificate to indicate that the auditor satisfies the criteria of section 141 will be explained in detail in this particular session. 141 is regarding disqualification. Company will inform the auditors about his appointment as an auditor. Company to inform the auditors, plus company will have to file a notice with the registrar within 15 days regarding his appointment as an auditor in form number ADT1. So this is the requirement, this is the statutory requirement. File a notice with the registrar of the companies within 15 days. And appointment, wherever we have used appointment, it includes reappointment. Now, very important section 139(2). This is rotation of auditors. No listed company or a company belonging to such class or classes of company as described in the rules. Now here you see no listed company or a company belonging to such class or classes of companies. Now what is prescribed class of companies? Now what is prescribed class of companies? I tell you, I explain to you. The class of companies, prescribed class of companies here will mean the following class of companies. All unlisted companies having paid up share capital of rupees 10 crore or more. Unlisted public companies, please remember here, not private limited. Unlisted public limited companies having paid up share capital of rupees 10 crore or more. Or private limited companies having paid up share capital of rupees 20 crore or more. अब स्टूडेंट्स यहां पर प्लीज रिमेंबर, प्लीज टेक केयर हेयर, यहां पर स्टूडेंट्स उल्टा कर देते हैं. अनलिस्टेड को आप 20 करोड़ कर दो और प्राइवेट लिमिटेड को 10 करोड़, ये गलत हो जाएगा. दिस विल बी रॉन्ग. सो इंटेंशन ऑफ द लॉ मेकर्स देखो यहां पर क्या है. सी द इंटेंशन ऑफ द लॉ मेकर्स. प्रोविजन ऑफ रोटेशन ऑफ ऑडिटर्स. पब्लिक कंपनी, इफ इट इज ए पब्लिक कंपनी, मैं जल्दी कवर करना चाहूंगा उसे. अगर मेरी पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल जल्दी अचीव मींस 10 करोड़ भी मैंने कवर कर दिया उसे रोटेशन के प्रोविजन से. सो प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी को मैं कुछ एग्जम्पशन देना चाहता हूं, पब्लिक लिमिटेड कंपनी को नहीं देना चाहता. पब्लिक कंपनी को नहीं देना, एग्जम्पशन नहीं देना, इसलिए उसको जल्दी कवर कर दिया, 10 करोड़ भी कवर कर दिया रोटेशन प्रोविजन से. सो और प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज को मैंने यहां पे एग्जम्पशन दे दी 10 करोड़ की और ज्यादा, कि 20 करोड़ पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल पर मैंने उसे कवर किया रोटेशनल प्रोविजन से. सो यू ट्राई टू लर्न इन दिस मैनर, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंटेंशन ऑफ द लॉ मेकर्स कि यहां पे 20 करोड़ क्यों लगाया, वहां पे 10 करोड़ क्यों लगाया. सो व्हाई 10 करोड़ इज देयर एंड 20 करोड़. 20 करोड़ इन केस ऑफ प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज. फॉर प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनीज I want to keep the limit on higher note. Why? Because I want to give exemption to private limited companies for covering in the rotation of auditors, lawmakers. This is the intention of the lawmakers, which we were discussing initially. So, class of companies prescribed, listed companies are always covered by provision of rotation of auditors. So, these class of companies with what we are discussing are covered by the provision of rotation of auditors. Unlisted public companies, if it is a listed company, it is automatically covered because it is listed on recognized. There is no capital criteria. If it is unlisted public company, so its requirement having paid up share capital of 10 crore or more. For private limited company having paid up share capital of 20 crore or more. Now, what if all companies having, now all companies, we are talking of all companies now, having paid up share capital below threshold limit, what is mentioned in A and D above. Now, private limited companies having capital say 15 crore, 10 crore, 5 crore, whatever the case may be, and unlisted public company having paid up share capital say 5 crore. So, these are all companies having paid up share capital below threshold limit, but having यहाँ पे important, यहाँ पे criteria बदल दिया students. If they are having public borrowings from financial institutions, banks or public deposits of rupees 50 crore or more. If I form a company, say my private limited company is having paid up capital say 5 crore, but my public borrowings from the banks or public deposits from financial institutions, it is say 60 crore rupees or 70 crore, 100 crore I borrow from banks. Then I will be governed by the provisions of rotation of auditors irrespective of clause D or B. This is the idea behind. So here the criteria is, so class of companies for rotation of auditors. These include listed companies are always covered. Excluding OPC, 1% company is not covered. Small companies are not covered. Please remember this. These are excluded from the provision. Specifically exclude. This is specific exclusion. There is specific exclusion. 1% company and small company are specifically excluded from the provisions of rotation of auditors. Now, what are those? Including listed companies are always covered, and unlisted companies having paid up share capital of 10 crore or more. All private limited companies having paid up share capital of 20 crore or more, and all companies having paid up share capital. It will not make any. This criteria is gone. Whatever be the paid up share capital, but if they have public borrowings from banks, financial institution, or public deposits greater than or equal to 50 crore, then they will automatically be governed by the provisions. This is all about companies who are covered by the provisions of rotation of auditors. What is your viewpoint on this, Nisha?
Yes, as already well discussed the whole provision relating to the rotation of auditors by you, sir. I think the concept must be clear to you, clear to the students. But in a crisp, I can only say the companies are compulsorily required to follow the rotation of auditors. And what are that companies? Already explained that the listed companies, as well as a certain class of the companies that has been prescribed under the rules. And this class of companies has already been discussed. They are the unlisted public companies with the prescribed paid up share capital, that is of rupees more than 10 crores. Similarly, for private limited companies, they have said that who have the paid up share capital of rupees 20 crore or more. And similarly, with respect to the all companies who have the public borrowing from financial institutions, banks, or public deposit of more than rupees 50 crore, they all will fall under this classes of companies who are being governed by the rotation of auditors.
Yes, coming back. No listed company. So section 139(2) starts with the words no listed company or a company belonging to such class or classes of companies as prescribed under rules. So prescribed companies I have already explained to you. Listed company you all know. Shall appoint means these companies are governed by the provisions of rotation of auditors. No listed company or the prescribed companies shall appoint or reappoint an individual as an auditor for more than one term of 5 consecutive years. If individual is appointed as an auditor, so only one term is given, and then there will be gap of one term for more than one term of 5 consecutive years. So he is allowed to hold the office of auditor for one term of 5 consecutive years only. And these years, students, please remember, these are 5 consecutive years. And if it is an audit firm is appointed as an auditor. As I explained to you, Mohit and company, chartered accountants appointed as an auditor. If firm of chartered accountants is appointed, is holding the office of the auditor, so they are allowed maximum 2 terms, means for 10 years. No listed company or a prescribed company shall appoint or reappoint. This is how you can prepare the brief notes. An individual for more than one term of 5 years, and firm, if firm auditor is there, for more than 2 terms of 5 years. Provided no condition, provided whenever you come across this provided that, means some condition is there. An individual auditor who has completed his term under clause A shall not be eligible for reappointment as an auditor in the same company for 5 years. Means this is the gap you need to give, 5 years from the completion of his term. So this is the gap we are discussing. Gap आपको कितना देना होगा? Once your term is complete, after that, आपको 5 years का गैप देना होगा स्टूडेंट्स if you are an individual auditor. And in case of if you are firm, if your firm is appointed an auditor, so same for 5 years from the, उनके लिए भी जो गैप है सेम है. गैप 2 टर्म का नहीं देना पड़ेगा, प्लीज रिमेंबर, गैप 5 years का ही होगा. So once, so this is how you can prepare brief notes. Once term is completed, so would not be eligible for reappointment for 5 years. तो 5 years का आपको गैप देना होगा जरूर. Class of company students, I have already explained to you. चार्ट से भी एक्सप्लेन कर दिया and every brief note से भी एक्सप्लेन कर दिया. Now, firm having common partners, this is about rotation of auditors is continued. Having, if there are common partners to other audit firm whose tenure has expired shall not be. This is very important, I tell you. Now I give you one example, ABC. If ABC constitute one firm, ABC and company. ABC, they found one firm of chartered accountants, ABC and company. Now there is another firm of chartered accountants, DE and A. DE and A. If you see, this is DEA and company. Now here, if you see the common partner is A. A is the common partner. Now if ABC and company has completed its 5 years term, 10 years, 2 terms of 10 years, then DEA will not be eligible for appointment as an auditor. They will have to give a gap of 5 years. So common partner nahi hona chahiye. Please remember, this is very important point. So this is practical point I am telling you. This is practical point, very much practical. Chartered accountants जैसे firm बनाते हैं, हम लोगों की firms होती हैं ऐसी जिसमें common partner होते हैं. So common partners are very much there. So they are prevalent, but you need to avoid this. This is example I have already explained to you. Every company shall comply with these requirements within 3 years from the date of commencement. So 3 years is transition period. 3 years from the date of commencement of this act. So this is example illustration explaining rotation in case of individual auditors. There are 3 columns, students. First column, number of consecutive years for which an individual auditor has been functioning as auditor in the same company. In the first AGM held after the commencement of provision of section 1. Now 139(2) is very much applicable. And for 5 years or more than 5 years, I am holding the office of auditor in that company. Now the maximum period is 3 years, not transition period. This is transition period, I tell you. Maximum number of consecutive years for which he may be appointed in the same company. So 3 years transition, because I have already completed my term. 5 years मेरे पूरे हो चुके थे, तो 3 years का भी आपको transition period दे दिया. मीन आप 8 साल तक ही उसमें maximum auditors या ज्यादा साल भी हैं तो आप 3 साल के लिए और रह सकते हो. That's it. और अगर मेरे 4 years पहले कंप्लीट हो चुके हैं तो मैं 3 साल के लिए दे 3 years तो ट्रांजिशन है ही है. और स्टूडेंट्स अगर मेरे 2 साल हो चुके हैं तो भी मैं 3, क्योंकि मैक्सिमम 5 years के लिए मेरा अपॉइंटमेंट होना है. और अगर स्टूडेंट्स मेरा 1 साल हुआ, 1 year I have completed, I can be appointed for 4 years then, because 5 years total I can complete as an individual auditor. So similar example is in case of firm, there you will see 10 years. I hope this example is clear. Yes, Nisha?
Yes, sir, because it's very well explained and it is given under the Act also. For more understanding, you can refer the parrots that what we are emphasizing in the whole session. Can you read the parrot in order to have more understanding how the computation of the rotation of auditors is being done? And as already being said by the sir, we have to take into the consideration for the period which has already been served by the person before the commencement of the act.
Yeah, definitely.
And along with it, the transitional period may also be included in order to find out the aggregate period.
Yes, next point is right of the company to remove an auditor or right of the auditor to resign, these are never, shall not be prejudiced. Means this will be taken care of. Company will be have, it means company will have right of removal of auditor and auditor will have right to resign. Means this because this is right, students, then this is very much taken care of by the Companies Act. Now section 139(3) is there. Before I move further, students, I have explained to you with the help of section 139(1), section 139(2), how to study the law, how to study law related questions. Before I move further, I would like, because section 141 is also, we wanted to explain, Nisha wanted to explain section 141, provision section 141 also. So keeping in view the time constraint, Nisha will explain you section 141. Is it okay with you, Nisha?
Yes, sir. So students, as already I have discussed in brief about the section 141, which deals with the disqualification, and there already we have discussed the mandatory provision, that was that he should be a chartered accountant, and along with being the chartered accountant, there are certain disqualifications given in section 141. These disqualifications I'm discussing now in detail. As already discussed, that he must be a chartered accountant, and where it is a firm, then definitely the majority of partners must be chartered accountant, and they shall be appointed by its firm name. Under subsection 2, we have dealt only in the case of LLPs, only the chartered accountants are authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm. Now, this is the main subsection 3 of section 141, which specifically prescribes the various disqualifications of the auditors. This is to be read with Rule 10 of the Companies Audit and Auditors Rule 2014, and it prescribes specifically the persons who shall not be eligible for the appointment as an auditor of a council. So the first one is a body corporate other than LLPs. That means such a body corporate must not be LLP. Then that body corporate will be disqualified. But if such a firm or the body corporate is LLP, registered under the LLP Act, then definitely he will be eligible to be appointed as an auditor. The second condition given is that such a person must not be an officer or employee of the company. If it is in any way officer of the company or an employee of the company, then such a person cannot be appointed as an auditor of the company.
Yes, students. So far as point number B is concerned, as explained, he should not be an officer or employee of the. Why he should not be an officer or employee of the company? Now, my question is, why an auditor cannot simultaneously hold the position of officer or an employee in a company? Means a company, if A is manager finance, manager taxation, manager audit in a company, why can't he be appointed as an auditor in that company itself? So the intention of the lawmakers over here, if I explain to you, is independence. Students, here independence will not be there. If he is an employee of the company, an auditor, the main criteria of the auditor is independent person. He should be an independent person. His opinion should be independent opinion, not biased opinion. Employee can be biased towards his employer. An officer of the company can be biased towards his management. So if a person is biased towards the management, towards his employer, how can he be appointed as the auditor of that company, where he is expected to give an independent opinion? He will not be able to give the independent opinion. So that is why Companies Act Here it is disqualification is the company that officer or employee, he should not be officer or employee of the company.
Moving to the next condition is that a person who is a partner or who is in the employment of an officer or employee of the company. That means a person who is himself a partner in a company, or if he is a person who is in the employment of any person, that is of an employee, or if he is a partner of an officer or an employee of the company. This we will take with an example in our coming slide, but before you should understand this provision in more clear manner, that is, the following persons are disqualified to be appointed as an auditor if he is a partner of an officer of the company, or he is an employee of an officer, or a partner of an employee, or an employee of the company. In any of the four manner, if he is related, then he may not be appointed as an auditor of the
So
company.
students, this is very important. You can note down this even. So this is very important, 4 points in support of that section which Nisha was explaining to you. So these 4 points you learn in this manner. This will be your notes, your study material, your reference material. So note down, study in this manner, I tell you. So here again I am telling you independence. This is again a criteria for independence. The auditor should be an independent person. That is why we will not appoint a person as an auditor if he is partner of an officer of the company, if he is an employee of an officer of the company. Now, officer के ऊपर तो मैंने restriction लगा दी, लेकिन officer का employee उसके ऊपर restriction नहीं लगाई तो वो उसको appoint कर देगा. Means again independence will be challenged. So this is the entire idea behind.
Similarly, clause D is saying about a person who or his relative or a partner. That means a person himself, either through his relative or a partner, he is holding any security of or interest in the company, or in its subsidiary, or its holding, or its associate, or a subsidiary of such holding company, then such a person will be disqualified. That means a person must not be holding, he himself must not be holding any security or interest in the company or any of the companies stated in the provision, or his relative or his partner in any way may be holding any security or any interest in the company. But however, an exception has been attached with this clause stating that a relative may hold the security or interest in the company of face value not exceeding rupees 1 lakh. That means if a relative is holding a security less than 1 lakh, he may be eligible to be appointed as an auditor. But if he is holding exceeding this face value of security or interest in the company, then such a relative may not be appointed as an auditor of the company. You can understand these clauses with an example. Suppose Mr. A is a person, he is a practicing chartered accountant. This is the requirement of being a person to be eligible to become an auditor. So Mr. A chartered accountant, he is holding a security of XYZ Limited company with the face value prescribed is rupees 900. So here, whether Mr. A is eligible or not, since all we said, a person himself cannot hold any shares or securities in the company. And since Mr. A is the person himself holding a security, so he will be disqualified for appointment as an auditor of the XYZ Limited. Similarly, another example, Mr. P is a chartered accountant and Mr. Q, who is a relative of Mr. P, he is holding securities in the ABC Limited having face value of rupees 90,000. So in this situation, you will find that Mr. P, who is a relative of Mr. Q, is not disqualified to be appointed as an auditor because this example will fall within the purview of the proviso given as discussed in the proviso, earlier proviso, where it says that relative may hold the securities or interest not exceeding the value 1 lakh rupees. And since this is less than 1 lakh rupees, so he will be eligible to be appointed as an auditor in the ABC Limited. Taking another example, B, C and Company is an audit firm having partners Mr. B, Mr. C and Mr. A. The relative of Mr. C, Mr. A is the relative of Mr. C, who is holding securities of MWF Limited, face value of rupees 1,01,000 rupees. Here, B and C company is disqualified to be appointed as an auditor of MWF, since as per the provision, here the relative is holding the security or the interest more than the 1 lakh rupees. So he is disqualified in the given case here to be appointed as an auditor of the MWF company. So provided that the condition of rupees 1 lakh is applicable, that means it is mandatory, it is applicable in the case of company not having share capital or other securities. This is given under the rules, it has been prescribed under the rules saying that the condition of rupees 1 lakh is mandatory, whether the company is not having share capital or the other securities. Also, it further provides that in the event of acquiring any security or interest by a relative above this threshold prescribed, that is of 1 lakh, the corrective action, that means he has this corrective action to maintain this limit, that this value of security shall not exceed 1 lakh rupees, shall be taken by the auditor within the 60 days of the acquisition of interest. So this is also being seen that the limit prescribed shall not be exceeded in any manner. If it exceeds, then in such a situation, the corrective action will be taken by the auditor within the 60 days of such acquisition of interest. The next condition prescribed for disqualification is that the person who or his relative or partner is indebted to the company or the subsidiary or holding or associate or subsidiary. These are the other prescribed companies. That means along with the company, if it is a subsidiary of the company or the holding or the subsidiary of the holding company or associate company, in all these companies, the person who himself or through his relative or partner is indebted to the company in excess of rupees 5 lakh, he will be disqualified. If it is less than this, then they may be eligible for the appointment as an auditor. So the companies that have been given under the before in earlier clause that we have explained, whether in the company or its subsidiaries company, its holding company and its associate company or subsidiaries of such holding company, in any of the company, then such person will be disqualified if he is indebted in excess of rupees 5 lakh. Next condition that is given is has given a guarantee or provided any security.
It means, students, यहाँ पे one thing I will like to explain to you. Being an auditor, एक बात आप ध्यान रख लीजिए कि लोन नहीं लेना कंपनी से. यहाँ पर सिंपल बात यही है, किसी भी तरीके से कंपनी से कोई पैसा नहीं लेना. लोन except your fees. You can charge your fees. There is no bar on that. But students, लोन नहीं लेना. बस ये मोड, अगर मैं आप मेरे से एक उसमें लाइन में आंसर पूछोगे इसका, इस क्लॉज का, तो मैं आपको कहूंगा लोन नहीं लेना, बस दैट्स इट. अगर आप कंपनी के ऑडिटर हैं, do not borrow from that company. If I am telling you, in case of banks even, I am taking the extreme case. Banks have the main business of lending the money. Even I cannot borrow from the bank. If I say I have got a car financed from the Bank of Baroda, I cannot be appointed as auditor if it is exceeding 5 lakh rupees. This is the thing which you need to take care of.
Where a person has been indirectly indebted, that means where he has given a guarantee or provided any security with respect to any third person to the company, and that too in excess of rupees 1 lakh, he will be disqualified.
Very good point, very good point. Really appreciable, students. Guarantor. Now you go to any bank, I tell you, guarantee सोच समझ कर देना. Go to any bank branch. There is statutory warning they have displayed over there कि guarantor will be equally liable. Guarantor को equally liable भी कर दिया, ये भी याद रखना. हालांकि मैं इस रेफरेंस में नहीं बात कर रहा, लेकिन गारंटी समय सोच समझ कर देना. सो गारंटर के लिए जो हमने लगाया इन एक्सेस ऑफ ₹1 लाख लगाया है यहाँ पे कंडीशन.
So the same has been further elaborated that person shall be disqualified to be appointed as auditor if either he or his relative or his partner has given any kind of the guarantee or security in excess of ₹1 lakh. Where the other disqualification is a person or a firm who, whether directly or indirectly, has business relationship with the company or its subsidiary, or again that holding associate subsidiary of such holding company of such nature as may be prescribed. The word as may be prescribed means whatever has been given under the rules. The rules prescribe what are the nature, what are the types of business relationship that will make the person disqualified for being an auditor. So the rules prescribes that the term business relationship as the transaction which has been entered into for a commercial purpose. If any relation is of such type or any transaction has been made with respect to which is in relation to a commercial purpose, then that will make the person disqualified, except the two conditions that has been given here. First, where the commercial transactions are such that they are in the nature of the professional services has been provided as is permitted to an auditor and audit firm under the Act. The Act means 2013 Act and the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. If any of the thing has been done under this nature of professional services as permitted under this Act, that will not be considered as that will not make the person disqualified to be appointed as an auditor. Similarly, the second condition is the commercial transactions which are in the ordinary course of the business at the arm's length price. Arm's length price means at the market price. If any commercial transaction has been done in the ordinary course of the business at the market price, that will also not make the person disqualified for being appointed as an auditor. So any other transaction, commercial transaction, except these two exceptions, will make him disqualified for being appointed as an auditor in the company. Next is the person whose relative is a director or is in the employment of the company as a director or KMP. That means the person who is a relative, whose relative is a director. That means he is a relative, whose relative is a director shows that there is a relation with the director of the company or is in the employment of any of the company. Will again make him biased. That means the same thing, he will not be independent and cannot lay down his duty independently, and somewhere he may be biased while performing his duty. So it is said the person who is relative, whose relative is a director in the employment of the company as a director of KMP may not be eligible for being appointed as an auditor. Moving next clause, that is the person who is in the full-time employment elsewhere, or a person or a partner of a firm holding appointment as its auditor, and if such person or partner is at the date of such appointment or reappointment holding appointment as an auditor of more than 20 companies, then other than the one-person companies, dormant companies, small companies, private, having paid up share capital less than 100 crores. This is the section which prescribes the limit on the auditors to hold the maximum number of companies. So here the prescribed is the 20 companies is the maximum number. This is a ceiling limit which has been prescribed for the auditors to hold at a one time. But however, an exception has been attached with this section, that is the OPC, dormant company, small company and private company with the restrictions that the paid up share capital less than 100 crore. These are not included within the purview of this limit of 20 companies. But if the private company is having the paid up share capital more than 100 crore rupees, then they will be counted within the limit of this 20 companies. And here per partner will be given this limit of 20 companies. If suppose the company is having 2 partners, then they individually will hold the limit of 20 and 20, and when it is the firm A and B company, then they will have total 40 numbers of audit of the companies. Next is the person who has been convicted by a court of an offense involving fraud and a period of 10 years had not elapsed from the date of such conviction. That means if any person who has been convicted with respect to any fraud committed by him, and if a period of 10 years has been elapsed, then he may be appointed. But if that period has not been elapsed from the date of such conviction, this will make him disqualified for being appointed as an auditor. Next, any person whose subsidiary or associate company or any other form of entity is engaged on the date of appointment in consulting and providing any specialized services which are given under section 144 of Companies Act 2013. If in any way a person is engaged or whose subsidiary or any associate company is in any way engaged on the date of appointment in providing any specialized services or consulting, then they may be disqualified for being appointed as an auditor. So where a person is appointed as an auditor of a company and later on he incurs any of the qualifications which we have already discussed as per the subsection 3, he shall vacate his office as such auditor, and such a vacation shall be deemed to be a casual vacancy. Means if a person, he was appointed as an auditor, but later on he incurs any of the disqualification, either it may be due to acquiring of any, we can say, securities or interest in some company, or in any of the thing, in any of the disqualification that we have mentioned, in such a condition he has to vacate his office, and such a vacation shall be deemed to be a casual vacancy, and such a casual vacancy shall be filled by the board of directors. Now moving to the next section, which deals with the removal and resignation of auditors.
Yes, students, coming back to section 139, 139.2 till 139.2 we had discussed. Now coming further, students, 139.3, 139.4, 139.3 is members of the company may resolve that the auditing partner and his team shall be rotated. This is internal rotation only, and or the audit conducted by more than one auditor. Rule 6 prescribes the manner of rotation. Now, manner of rotation of auditors is prescribed by Rule 6. Audit committee shall recommend to the board name of audit firm on expiry of the term, and board shall consider the recommendation of audit committee, and in other cases board shall itself consider the matter of rotation of auditors and recommend the next auditor. For the purpose, these are similar to Rule 3. For the purpose of rotation of auditors, the period prior to the commencement of the act shall be considered for calculating the period of 5 consecutive years or 10 consecutive 3 years transition period, as I told you. For the purpose of rotation of auditors, incoming auditor shall not be eligible if associated with the outgoing auditor under the same networking of audit firms. So for the purpose of rotation of auditor, break in term for 5 continuous auditors, 5 continuous years shall fulfill the requirement of rotation, as I have already told you. So this is 139.4. Now coming to section 139.5, very important section. This is now appointment of, we are discussing appointment of subsequent auditors in case of government companies. appointment of subsequent auditors in case of government company. Now I am a government company, or my company is owned by the government, controlled by the government. It may be directly or indirectly. It may be state government, it may be central government, or a combination of central government, state government, partially by the state government, partly by the central government, whatever the case may be. So as per section 139(5), देखो यहां तक मैंने आपको सारा बता दिया कि कोई कॉम्बिनेशन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली कुछ भी हो सकता है. So there may be any combination. It only central government is controlling that company, or central government and state government, or more than one state government is controlling, but any combination could be there. Power किसके पास है स्टूडेंट्स? CAG के पास पावर है. Please remember the answer to this is subsequent auditor कौन अपॉइंट करेगा? CAG अपॉइंट करेगा. Appoint an auditor duly qualified to be appointed as an auditor of company within a period of 180 days from the commencement of the financial year, who shall hold office till the conclusion of the AGM. So 180 days, within a period of 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. So answer to this question, subsequent auditors in case of government company, answer is CAG within 180 days. So in the case, this is how you can prepare the brief notes. In case of a government company, CAG of India shall appoint an auditor within a period of 180 days from the commencement of the financial year, who shall hold office till the conclusion of the AGM. First auditor of a company. Now we are talking of first auditor, but other than government company, not government company, other than government company. First auditor of a company which is other than a government company shall be, first auditors are appointed by the board of directors. If it is not a government company, if it is a government company, appointment and first auditor appointed by the CAG of India. Please remember this. The first auditor, if it is other than government company, first auditor will be appointed by the board of directors, and that too within 30 days from the date of registration of the company. And in case board fails to appoint the first auditor within the period of 30 days, what the board will have to do, it is statutory requirement, it shall inform the members of the company, who in turn, and the member in turn shall appoint within 90 days at an EGM, appoint the auditor. Appointed auditor shall hold the office till the conclusion of the first EGM. So this is provisions of section 139(6). 139(7) is appointment of first auditor in the case of a government company, and 139(5) was appointment of subsequent auditor in case of a government company. Appointment was made by the CAG of India within 180 days. Now, first auditor in case of a government company. In the case of a government company, first auditor shall be appointed by the CAG of India, but within 60 days from the date of registration of the company. This is their subsequent auditors के लिए student 180 days from the beginning of financial. यहाँ पे 60 days from the date of registration of the company है first auditor के लिए. And in case the first auditor of government company was appointed by the, so this is wrong. Is the appointment valid? No. In the case of a government company, first auditor is governed by the provision of section 139(7), which states that first auditor shall be appointed by the CAG within 60 days. So in case CAG doesn't appoint, in case CAG does not appoint, यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट फेल्स नहीं है, does not appoint, ये उनकी विश है, नहीं अपॉइंट किया, does not appoint. यहाँ पे वर्ड स्टूडेंट्स ये मत लगाना कि fail to appoint, CAG fail. There is nothing failure on the part of CAG. What is your opinion, Nisha?
Exactly, sir. Because here we can clearly see the provision specified does not appoint. That means he is not forced.
Many students I have seen that they are writing CAG fails to appoint. So I think it is not correct.
Exactly. They are misinterpreting actually. Clearly section says that does not appoint. It does not show they are failing on their part to appoint the auditors. In fact, they're willing. They feel that auditor is not competent. So in such a situation, the CAG does not appoint.
The important word students here are does not appoint such auditor within the set period, then the board of directors shall appoint such auditor within next 30 days. And if there is failure on the board, now in case of failure the board to appoint such auditor within 30 days, it shall board students board की statutory वो है powers, statutory liability भी है, power सारा कुछ है, duty भी है. 30 days के अंदर students it shall inform the members of the company, and वो members कैसे members AGM बुलाएंगे और 60 दिन के अंदर auditor की appointment होगी till the conclusion of first AGM. Now 139.8 is filling of casual vacancy. Other companies to be filled by the board of directors within 30 days. And in case of other companies, if it is a case of resignation, appointment will be done by the board of directors, should be approved by the company at AGM. In case of government, if it is a government company, to be filled by the government companies may answer CAG of India. Please remember this. To be filled by CAG within 30 days. Or in case there is failure, board of directors shall fill within 30 days. As this is the chart, explanation through chart, and now the detailed process will follow. Students, my emphasis is on how to study instead of minimum मैं आपको समझाना चाहता हूँ, minimum through minimum sections, ज्यादा सेक्शन समझाना मेरा एम नहीं है. स्टूडेंट्स आप इंटेंशन ऑफ द लॉ मेकर समझिए, स्लोली पढ़ना सीखिए. दिस इज माय वे ऑफ टेलिंग यू हाउ टू स्टडी द लॉ. सो फिलिंग ऑफ कैजुअल वैकेंसी आप खुद से स्टडी करिए, इसको देखिए कैसे मैंने आपको कुछ एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश करी है. कीपिंग इन व्यू रिस्ट्रेंट ऑफ द टाइमिंग. 139.9 स्टूडेंट्स क्या कहता है? Reappointment. A retiring auditor may be reappointed at an AGM if he is not disqualified for reappointment. तो retiring auditor reappoint किया जाएगा at an AGM if he is not disqualified. Condition क्या? Disqualification. अभी explain किया निशा ने आपको जरा. If he is not disqualified for reappointment, disqualification के सारे points आपको बता दिए गए. And he has not given the company notice in writing, या फिर notice he has not given the company notice in writing of his unwillingness to reappoint it. And third condition, a special resolution has not been passed at that meeting appointing somebody else or providing expressly that he shall not be reappointed. So very important point, students. 3 points I explain. Very important question I tell you. किसी ना किसी याद रखना, मेरे किसी ना किसी फॉर्म में किसी ना किसी प्रॉब्लम बनकर आपके एग्जाम में आ सकता है. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्शन है 139.9 रीअपॉइंटमेंट में. तो रिटायरिंग ऑडिटर मे बी रीअपॉइंटेड एट एन एजीएम इफ, पहली कंडीशन क्या है? इफ ही इज नॉट डिस्क्वालिफाइड. डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं होनी चाहिए. रीअपॉइंटमेंट हो सकती है लेकिन डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन ना हो. सेकंड, उसने नोटिस ना दिया और राइटिंग में कंपनी को कि मैं नहीं, मेरे को अपॉइंट मत कीजिए प्लीज, ये नोटिस ना दिया. और सी, कंपनी ने स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन ना पास कर दिया और किसी और को अपॉइंट करने का. स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन हैज नॉट बीन पास्ड एट दैट मीटिंग अपॉइंटिंग समबडी एल्स एज ऑडिटर और प्रोवाइडिंग एक्सप्रेसली दैट दिस पर्सन शुड नॉट बी अपॉइंटेड. दिस पर्सन शैल not be appointed as auditor. So these are the 3 conditions. Where at any AGM no auditor is appointed or reappointed, then the existing auditor shall continue to be the auditor of the company. Nisha, should we end the session or?
Yes, sir.
Keeping in view the timing.
Exactly.
But so we will continue and look for more sections. Appointment of auditor in case of audit committee, where a company is required to constitute an audit committee, and you know all audit committees under section 177. All appointments, including the filling of a casual vacancy of an auditor, shall be made after taking into account the recommendations of such committee. Now, this has already been explained to you. This is very important, I tell you, at a glance provisions. 139 glance, 4 चीजें समझा रहा हूँ स्टूडेंट्स आपको. 139.1 is every company shall appoint the auditor. Every company. And 139.5 is appointment of subsequent auditor by the government in case of a government company. 139(6) is appointment of subsequent auditor in case of a non-government company, and 139(7) is appointment of first auditors in case of a government company. So these are the provisions at a glance. Section 139, appointment 139. Now, appointment of first auditor in case of a government company is non-government company. If it is a non-government company and first auditors are to be appointed, section 139(6) is there. And appointment has to be made within 30 days. बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स अपॉइंट करेंगे 30 दिन के अंदर अंदर. और बोर्ड स्टूडेंट्स अगर फेल हो जाता है, बोर्ड के पार्ट पे फेलियर हो सकता है, लेकिन सीएजी के लिए हमने लिखा सीएजी डज नॉट अपॉइंट. सीएजी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की बहुत बड़ी अथॉरिटी है, इसलिए हम फेलियर नहीं लिखते सीएजी के. सीएजी के लिए हम लिखते हैं डज नॉट अपॉइंट. बोर्ड के लिए हम फेलियर लिख सकते हैं. So if in case of failure of the board to appoint the auditor, it shall inform the members, and members 90 days EGM बुलाई जाएगी जिसमें members 90 days के अंदर अंदर students auditor को appoint करेंगे. Appointment of first auditor of a government company. First auditor shall be appointed by the CAG of India in case of 139(7) by the CAG of India within 60 days from the registration. And if CAG does not appoint, then board will appoint within the next 30 days, and if there is failure on the part of the board to appoint within the next 30 days, then it shall refer to the members who in turn will call EGM, extraordinary general meeting.
Yes.
I do not know much about EGM.
It is given under section 100 of the Guidelines of 2013.
Okay.
And all the other meetings except the AGM, they are the extraordinary general meetings.
Okay. Section कौन सा बताया निशा?
Section 100.
Section 100 is about EGM.
Yeah.
Okay. So 60 days at an EGM, auditor shall hold office till the conclusion of the first AGM. Appointment of subsequent auditor of a non-government company. If it is a non-government company and subsequent auditors are there, then section 139(1) जहाँ से हमने start किया था. Every company shall at the first AGM appoint an individual law firm as an auditor, who shall hold office from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of 6th AGM, and thereafter till the conclusion of every 6th meeting. This is section 139(1). Very interesting, but this has to be read with rule 3 of the company's auditor rule. Appointment of subsequent auditors in case of a government company. This is section 139(5). Subsequent auditors, government company by the CAG of India within 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. And 141 is already explained to you, students. Now we have covered section 139, section 141. With this, students, we move to online queries if any. Yes, students. We have explained to you section 139 in detail, and Nisha has explained to you 141 in detail. Students, try to understand how to study. How to study is very important, and my emphasis, our emphasis throughout in this lecture is not on teaching. We do not want to teach you. We do not want to teach you section 139, 141, 140. We do not want to teach you these sections. Through these sections, we want you to grasp, to understand how to study, basically, how to study the laws. Remember the first slide in which Nisha explained two things, two important things, please remember. First one was, keep with yourself the bare acts. Bare acts are very important, I tell you. Rather, you should purchase the manuals, company law manual, income tax, if you are studying income tax manual along with rules. Simultaneously, you will be able to see section along with the rule. This is the benefit you will have while you will keep the manual along with you. So this is very important. If you keep alongside yourself the bare acts, manuals. And foremost important point, very important I should say, was learning. And learning strategy, if I talk of CA examination, if I am talking of CA examination, it is a strategic type of examination, students. You study for just 3 to 6 months, 3 to 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. This is the timing students are devoting. I am not devoting one complete year for studies like 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th classes. You devoted complete 1 year for passing out these classes. And in CA, this is a professional course, more tougher than those. And you want to achieve this success in just 3 months. So I am not saying you cannot do. You can do, but you need a special strategy for this. And just follow the strategy I have told you in respect of laws. Learning is the key technique, key strategy I tell you. And moreover, slow learning. Remember, you need to learn slowly. So 2 things are very important. And third one, which Nisha emphasized, translate your knowledge into brief notes. You must translate your knowledge into brief notes. Brief notes prepare simultaneously. You prepare your notes simultaneously while you are studying. This is not so you study on one day and prepare your notes on second day. This is not so. And moreover, learning strategy, I tell you, 4 times learning will make the things cemented, settled in your mind. You will not forget them. Even if you try, you will not forget. And live in the important point which Nisha emphasized. Okay, you should learn the sections. Isn't it, Nisha?
Yes, sir.
So, and strategy I am telling you how to learn. Live in that section. Like you are living in your house. You remember your house number. You are driving your bike. You remember your bike number. You know the registration number of your bike. The number of your house. If you live in that section, try to understand the intention. How will you live in that section? You understand the intention of that section, learn it by heart. It means you are living in that section. Learning of number will not be a problem for you. I can guarantee that. I can assure you that. So students, follow these steps. Another important point which I wish to emphasize is document your studies. This is very important point. Document your studies in your daily schedule register. Prepare your schedule of studies. In this particular day, say today is 22nd July, 10 hours study document कर दीजिए अपनी. 3 hours मैंने FM पढ़ी, 3 hours मैंने auditing पढ़ा, 3 hours law पढ़ा, 3 hours auditing SFM पढ़ी. 12 hours आपने स्टडी किया. 12 hours में लिखिए कौन कौन सा चैप्टर किया, कौन कौन सा टॉपिक किया आपने, सामने लिख दी, नोटिंग कर दीजिए एक रजिस्टर पे. उसका नाम रख दीजिए शेड्यूल, डेली शेड्यूल रजिस्टर. स्टूडेंट्स, बिलीव मी, यकीन करिए, 15 से 20 नंबर का जंप मिलता है रिजल्ट के अंदर by preparing this register only. Students come to me, सर हमने इतना पढ़ा था 3 महीने. मैं कहा दिखाओ कहाँ पढ़ा था. You are not able to explain कैसे क्या किया था. If you prepare your schedule register, you can monitor your studies. You can document your studies. So students, करके देखो, 20 दिन बना के देखो, 21वें दिन आप अपने आप बनाना शुरू हो जाओगे शेड्यूल रजिस्टर. और 15 नंबर का जंप. I can assure you these are time tested techniques जो मैंने students पे apply की. So follow these strategies if you want to clear in one attempt. So with these words, if still you have any queries, so you contact us on you can contact us telephonically, by email. So our email IDs are rajeev.sachdeva@ici.in, nisha.gupta@ici.in. You can also contact us on 0120 3045 925 and Nisha's number is 939.
Yes. You can contact me at the last 3-digit number is 939. This is the extension number. That means the initial numbers are the same. That is 01203045. 939 is my number. You can contact me at any time with respect to any issues, any queries related to your subject. With this, we would like to conclude our sessions. Wish you all the best. Have a great day and goodbye and thank you.
Thank you, students. Thank you very much.